Welcome back to Apex Sci-Fi. Most species in the galaxy have a concept of sport. For the Zulkar hegemony, war is not a necessity, it is a ritualized hunt. The Zulkar are the ultimate apex predators of their own world, fast, agile, and equipped with biological sensors that can detect a heartbeat from a mile away. They pride themselves on hunting the most dangerous creatures across the stars to prove their genetic superiority. When a Terran scout ship was shot down over the desert planet Barangale, the Zulkar High Hunt Master Vulk saw an opportunity. He didn't order a boarding party. He didn't want the technology. He wanted the survivor. The human is alone, Vulk hissed to his elite trio of stalkers. He has no armor. He has no rifle. He is a soft-skinned mammal on a world that reaches 60 degrees Celsius by noon. We shall land, we shall track him, and we shall bring his skull to the Grand Pavilion. It will be an easy hunt. Staff Sergeant Elias Thorne was that survivor. He had crawled from the wreckage of his ship with nothing but a combat knife, a half-empty canteen, and a profound sense of annoyance. He knew Barangale was a death trap. The air was dry enough to crack bone, the sand was home to gale worms, and the Zulkar were already landing their sleek needle-shaped dropships in the distance. To the Zulkar, Elias was a Tier 4 prey, fragile, slow, and doomed. But they made the mistake that every alien hunter makes. They looked at his equipment, not his ancestry. Humans did not become the masters of Earth because we were the fastest or the strongest. We became the masters because we are persistence hunters. We are the species that can track a target for 3 days without stopping. We are the species that can regulate our body temperature through sweat while our prey dies of heatstroke. And on Barangale, Elias Thorne was going back to his roots. The hunt began at dawn. The Zulkar stalkers moved with blurring speed, using their active camouflage to blend into the heat haze. They tracked Elias's footprints in the sand, mocking his heavy, clumsy gait. He is bleeding, one stalker chirped, pointing to a smear of red on a jagged rock. He is weak. He is hiding in the black canyons. We will have him by midday. They entered the canyons, their high-tech thermal scanners sweeping the shadows. But the scanners were flickering. The black canyons were rich in magnetite, causing massive interference. Suddenly the lead stalker stopped. A small pile of rocks sat in the middle of the path. A primitive trap? The stalker laughed. He stepped forward. The ground didn't explode with a bomb. It simply vanished. Elias had spent 4 hours digging a sand pit, a classic terrestrial trap. The Zulkar warrior fell 10 feet into a hole filled with sharpened obsidian shards. The alien's iridescent armor was designed to deflect energy beams, not the raw, physical weight of gravity and stone. The stalker shrieked as his thin, fragile limbs were pinned and shattered. Contact! The second stalker screamed, aiming his plasma caster at the rim of the canyon. He saw a shadow move. He fired. The plasma bolt melted the rock, but there was nothing there. Then the silence returned. But it wasn't the silence of a desert. It was the silence of a predator waiting for the right moment. For the next 6 hours, Elias didn't attack. He just existed. He moved through the canyons with a rhythmic, steady pace. He covered himself in the cool, wet mud of an underground spring, masking his thermal signature. He stayed in the shadows. He watched as the Zulkar hunters began to pant. The heat was 65 degrees now. The Zulkar, despite their speed, lacked the human ability to sweat effectively. Their high-tech armor was becoming a furnace. Their movements became sluggish. Their focus blurred. Where is he? Huntmaster Vulk growled, his 4 eyes squinting through the glare. He should be dead from thirst. He should be collapsed in the sun. Vulk looked through his long-range optics. He saw Elias. The human was standing on a ridge a kilometer away. He wasn't running. He was just watching. There. Kill him. The Zulkar fired their long-range disruptors. Elias simply stepped behind a rock. When they reached the ridge, he was gone. But his footprints led deeper into the screaming dunes, a place where the wind-blown sand could strip the skin from a beast in minutes. The hunt was no longer a sport. It was an ordeal. One by one the stalkers fell. Not from bullets but from the desert. One succumbed to a gale worm because his sensors were too fried to detect the vibration. Another simply collapsed, his brain cooking inside his helmet. Finally, at sunset, Vulk was alone. He was the High Hunt Master, the terror of a dozen worlds. He was crawling through the sand, his energy shield depleted, his plasma caster empty. He heard a sound. A soft, rhythmic thudding. Vulk looked up. Elias Thorne was walking toward him. The human was covered in dust. His skin was burned, his lips were parched, and his eyes were bloodshot. But he was moving. He was still walking. How? Volk rasped, his translator failing. You are meat. You are soft. Elias stood over him, holding a spear he had fashioned from a piece of the ship's hull and a sturdy desert branch. You guys really over-rely on your toys, Elias said, his voice a dry, gravelly rasp. You thought the desert was your ally because it's a killer. But my ancestors spent 1,000,000 years chasing gazelles across the savannah. We didn't catch them because we were faster. We caught them because they stopped running, and we didn't. Elias raised the spear. You didn't come here to hunt a man, Elias said. You came here to wake up the beast. And now, the hunt is over. Elias didn't kill Volk. That would have been too easy. Instead, he stripped the hunt master of his high-tech gear and left him with a single bottle of human water and a compass pointing toward the nearest human outpost. Walk, Elias commanded. Let's see if your genetic superiority can handle the trek. When Volk finally reached the outpost 3 days later, he was a broken being. He didn't speak of conquest. He didn't speak of glory. He spoke only of the walking death, the creature that never stops, never tires, and never gives up. The Zulkar hegemony officially removed Barangale from their hunting maps. They issued a galaxy-wide decree: do not hunt the humans. They are not prey. They are the nightmare that waits until you are tired. They are the persistence of the void itself. The Galactic Council later interviewed Elias Thorne about his survival. They asked how he maintained his resolve while being hunted by the galaxy's elite. Elias, sitting in a comfortable chair with a cold beer and his feet up, just shrugged. It wasn't that hard, Elias said. They were playing a game. I was just taking a long walk in the sun. If you want to hunt a human, you'd better be prepared to go the distance. Because we've been walking since the beginning of time, and we're not planning on stopping anytime soon. Humanity had proven the ultimate evolutionary HFY truth. You can have the best technology, the fastest reflexes, and the sharpest claws. But you can never beat the species that simply refuses to stop coming for you. This has been Apex Sci-Fi. If you're running from a human, you're already caught. If you enjoyed this survival epic on Barangale, hit that like button. Comment below. What is the most impressive human endurance story you've ever heard? Subscribe for the next front, the Gladiator of Gera. The sun is setting. The walk continues.